Good day, everybody. This is Dimitri Lascaris coming to you from downtown Montreal, Canada for Reason to Resist on November 14th, 2025. I just had the rather unpleasant experience of being roughed up by the Montreal police, or as I like to refer to them, the speech Gestapo, at an event in downtown Montreal in which the Canadian Prime Minister Mark J. Carnage, otherwise known as Mark Carney, was speaking. And before I show you the footage of that experience, I did manage to get it on video. I think it would be useful for me to give you some relevant background information. And I guess the story begins in 2018 when I moved from Ontario, Canada to Montreal, and I've been living in Montreal continuously since then, although I do split my time between Montreal and Greece. And in the course of living in Montreal, I managed on numerous occasions, starting in 2018, to gain access to events where the Prime Minister or senior ministers in the Canadian government were speaking for the purpose of asking them, in my journalistic capacity, I am a card-carrying member of the press after all, some uncomfortable questions, particularly relating to Canadian foreign policy. And for the first, I would say, 5 years of my time in Montreal, so basically from 2018 to 2023, I was able to gain access to these events on numerous occasions, sometimes alone, oftentimes with other comrades from the vibrant activist community here in Montreal. Probably the person with whom I've done most of these peaceful disruptions is Yves Engler, author and activist who I have interviewed on Reason to Resist on several occasions. He's currently running to be the leader of the New Democratic Party, and he is being vilified for that by the corporate media and the neocons in this country and the Zionists as well. But in any event, I'm going to show you an example of the kinds of disruptions that he and I and others engaged in. This comes from a speech, or I guess it was a luncheon that was held in honor of the individual who at the time was the Canadian Minister of International Development. He had previously served as the Canadian Defense Minister. His name was Harajit Sajan. And at this sumptuous luncheon held in downtown Montreal in early 2023, I bought a ticket, and which I paid for out of my own pocket. And at an appropriate moment in the event, I stood up and asked him some uncomfortable questions. And here's what I had to say. Minister Sajan, in your speech, you mentioned the illegality of the Russian invasion, sir. We all know that the invasion of Iraq was illegal. What steps has your government taken to hold American war criminals accountable? Why have you not sanctioned the United States? Why haven't you sent weapons to Iraq to help the people of Iraq defend themselves against the American occupier? You mentioned Yemen, sir. Your government is sending billions of dollars of weapons to the Saudi autocracy, which is committing a genocide in Yemen. How can you expect to have moral authority on the international stage with this hypocrisy, sir? Sir, I'm a lawyer. I'm a lawyer, and you have no authority to touch me. That's an assault. Please, I will leave calmly if you give me an answer. No, well, there's no Q&A. Sir, please give us an answer. Tell us about this hypocrisy. Please explain your position. Nothing to say, sir? Nothing at all?
Thank you.
Now, as you can see, I didn't engage in any threatening behavior. I didn't use any foul language. I was allowed to speak, or was enabled to speak for, I don't know, less than a minute and a half, I think. And at that point, I was physically removed from the premises, even though I wasn't engaging in any kind of behavior that could reasonably be described as threatening. And I wasn't being obscene. I simply asked some uncomfortable questions to this minister of the Canadian government. Well, starting around the time that Israel embarked upon this sadistic genocidal project, I discovered that it was becoming increasingly difficult for me to gain access to events in Montreal at which Canadian ministers were speaking. And sometimes I couldn't even get into public speaking events that featured lower level members of the governing Liberal Party, people who weren't even in the cabinet. And it quickly became apparent to me in late 2023, early 2024, that I was on some kind of a blacklist that the government had put together to prevent people like me and Eve Engler from getting anywhere close to ministers in the Canadian government or even lower level members of parliament when events were being held in Montreal. Now, how do I know this? That I was on a blacklist, I can't say for certain, but I think there's lots of circumstantial evidence to support that conclusion. Time and time again, when I found out that there was some event happening in downtown Montreal at which a Canadian government minister was speaking, whenever I tried to enter the building, I was stopped at the entrance to the building by cops that I'd never met before. I didn't recognize them, and they knew me by name. They would walk up to me and they would say, "Hey, Mr. Lascaris, can't allow you into the building today." And I would say to them, "Well, how do you know my name's Lascaris? I've never met you before." And they would smile and say, "Look, I really can't say more, but you're not allowed to enter the building." And so that brings us to this week. On Wednesday of this week, I received an alert that Prime Minister Mark Carney was going to be speaking at an event organized and hosted by the Montreal Chamber of Commerce today, Friday, at 1 p.m. And I received that alert directly from the organizers because I happened to be on their email list. And frankly, the reason why I put myself on their email list was precisely to learn about events such as these, which they frequently host featuring Canadian politicians. And so the moment that I got that alert, literally within 30 seconds, I purchased a ticket to this event, which was, as I say, to be held today at a posh hotel in downtown Montreal. I'll get back to that in a moment. The ticket cost $190. I paid for it out of my own pocket. And immediately upon paying for it, I received an email confirmation that my purchase had gone through. And the email confirmation advised me that I would not be told the location of the event. All I was told at that point was that it was in downtown Montreal until Friday morning, today. And so before I tell you what happened next, let me just say that this is a standard practice now of the Canadian government. When I first started doing peaceful disruptions of Canadian politicians in Montreal back in 2018, it was customary for these alerts about speaking events involving Canadian politicians to tell you up front where they were speaking. But that all changed in 2023. They stopped telling the public where these speaking events would be held, and they started playing this game of cat and mouse. And they would wait until the very last second to tell only a select number of people where the event was actually being held. And it was obvious that the reason that they had changed their approach and they were being so secretive was to protect these corrupt, cowardly politicians from any form of public embarrassment. And so it is that when I received the confirmation that my ticket purchase had gone through, they didn't tell me where the event was going to be held. So that was on Wednesday. Then last night, Thursday night, I received another email from these organizers advising me that my ticket had been canceled and that I was going to be refunded the money, and I was refunded the money. And the reason that they gave was that the event was sold out. But they didn't explain why it was that I was issued a confirmation at the time when they were saying that there were seats available. So in any event, now that I had no ticket, it had been canceled, it became clear that I was not going to receive the notice on Friday morning today about where this event was being held. But some enterprising young activists in the Palestinian Solidarity and Movement in Montreal happened, by whatever methods they employ, to find out this morning at around 10 a.m. that the event was being held. Mark Carney would be speaking at the Fairmont Queen Elizabeth Hotel in downtown Montreal this afternoon. Why there's a hotel, a historic, massive hotel in the center of downtown Montreal called the Queen Elizabeth, in Quebec, a province which bristles at the idea of Anglo-American supremacy. is an interesting side question. But in any case, this is an institution in Montreal. It's a huge 4-star hotel. It has nearly 1,000 rooms. So there's a lot of people on any given day, particularly during business hours, who are walking in and out of that facility. Not just guests of the hotel, not just employees of the hotel, but people are just walking through it to go from one part of downtown Montreal to another when it's cold outside, as it is now, or people who are attending conferences or speeches that are being held in the huge ballrooms of this hotel. A lot of people going in and out of this hotel, and that's just part of the day-to-day reality of this facility. Now, having experienced repeatedly over the past 2 years, manhandling by Montreal cops and private security at events where Canadian politicians were speaking, and given that they had canceled my ticket with a really dubious explanation, I expected that when I tried to enter the building, they would not allow me to go, get anywhere close to the Prime Minister. I fully expected that, but I decided to try anyways, not because I thought I would succeed in getting in, but because I wanted to document what they did when they saw me. So you're about to see a video of my interactions with the speech Gestapo as I tried to enter the Fairmont Hotel today at around 1 p.m. And just so you know, I was trying to enter the hotel from the central train station in downtown Montreal through an underground tunnel. And the point at which I began to enter the facility is nowhere near where the Prime Minister was speaking. I was at the lowest level where you could enter the facility from outside of the facility, and the Prime Minister was speaking undoubtedly somewhere on one of the upper floors in some grand ballroom. So I was nowhere near Mark Carney when this happened, and there was no chance of me being in any way, shape, or form disruptive of his speech. But nonetheless, as you'll see, they weren't going to let me get anywhere close to the Prime Minister. This is what happened. Ça va très bien, oui.
Oui, vous allez où comme ça?
Why you? Listen, dude.
Yep.
No one authorized you to put your hand on me.
Oh no?
I'm a lawyer.
I did.
I'm a lawyer. No, you didn't. You don't have the.
Here's my name.
Let me finish.
Here's
Let me
my
finish.
name.
This lady just.
I'm gonna ask you to
This
leave.
lady just walked by.
I don't know. I don't care.
You did not ask her.
Yeah, but 2 minutes ago we saw her.
So what?
So what?
You think I haven't
Why-
stepped
why
on
you
these
here?
premises
Why-
before?
why are you here?
Why are you stopping me?
Why are you here?
Why are you stopping me?
Why
I
are
don't
you
get
here?
asked why I'm here when I enter buildings that are public in this city. Nobody asked me those questions. Why are you asking me this question, dude?
Oh, you can from
What
wherever
are you, the
want.
speech police?
Here's my name. Leonard.
Okay.
Badge
You
number
just
7488.
great, wonderful.
Okay.
Now you just stopped me.
Yes.
Even though this is a building, you can see all kinds of people are walking through
Yes,
here.
exactly.
Why did you pick me out of a crowd?
Because we're allowed to filter the person. That's,
But
that's
why?
the reason why we're
why'd you
here
pick
today.
me? Why are you filtering me?
Because we're picking everyone one by one.
No, you didn't. You're not picking everyone one by
Yes.
one. There are people walking by here. You're not bothering. You're not bothering. And by the way, why are you filtering anybody?
Why not?
What do you mean? Why? What
It's
are
our
you?
job.
What are you worried about? This is a massive building. The Prime Minister is speaking on
Yes.
some floor upstairs, right?
Hi there, sir.
Yes.
Can I help you? I'm gonna have to ask
No,
you
no,
to
I'm
put
not,
your-
I'm not turning off my camera.
Good,
I'm a lawyer and a journalist.
Hi, how
Okay? I'm being prevented.
Come down, please, Matt. Matt, come down.
I'm being prevented from walking through this building for reasons that aren't being explained to me, and I'd like to know why I'm being picked
Come
up.
downstairs to West One.
I'd like to know why you're picking me out and not allowing me to walk
First
through
of
this
all, good
building.
afternoon, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm well. How are you, sir?
Not too bad.
Okay.
Sir, this is a private property. Hello. So we have the permission to.
Yes, but I'm asking you a simple
We don't
question.
need to give. We don't need to give.
I know you don't need it, but
So
let's
we're
be
gonna have
honest.
to-
Let's be honest about what you're doing
Je vais vous
here.
demander de faire
Let's be
sortir.
honest. Just be honest, for Christ's sakes. Tell the truth. I pay your salary, dude. You understand? I pay your salary. You get your hands off me. Get your hands off me. I'm gonna leave. Get your grubby paws off me. Okay? Get your grubby paws off me. I'm leaving. What's the matter with you, man? You don't think I can't go leaving on my own?
Go smooth. Go smooth. Okay.
They teach you that in cop school? How to open a door and rough somebody up at the same time? Yeah, so this is your job, right?
Yeah.
You're the speech police. Hey, I'm off the property, man. I'm off the property. I'm off the property. Oh, I guess they didn't teach you how to open up a door in cop school, huh?
Okay.
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
Wow.
Have a great day, okay?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, speech police. Thank you, Gestapo. Now, I want to stress something about this interaction I had with these goons. First of all, I never tried to barge past them when they made it clear they weren't going to allow me into the building. I made no attempt to push through when those two young, beefy cops put themselves in front of me. All I did was demand to be told why I, a member in good standing of the bar and a card-carrying member of the press, was being prevented yet again from getting anywhere close to an event at which the Prime Minister was speaking in Montreal. I simply wanted to know why they were doing that, why they were stopping me from getting into the building. I didn't give any indication that I was going to disobey their instruction that I couldn't enter the building, and they were not even willing to tolerate that much. Not only did they not answer my question, but they were so, annoyed by my question that these two young goons literally, treated me like a human pretzel. Each of them took me by the arm and they put me in a very uncomfortable, kind of chokehold type of thing, not around my neck, but my arms. They were kind of treating them like pretzels, and dragged me about 30 meters from where I first was blocked by them to the exit. And the second thing I want to note about this is these guys were, 25 years old, these two cops who did this. And although I'm not particularly, fond of admitting it, I'm over 60 years old, man. And I think I look like an elder. I'm old enough to be those fuckers' grandfather. And look how they treated me. I mean, imagine what they do to younger people. If they're willing to treat somebody of my vintage that way, just because he's asking them why they are preventing him from entering this massive building where the Prime Minister is speaking, just imagine what they do to young activists. I mean, really, it's quite a sad statement on the state of policing in this country. In any case, after I left, walked away, I didn't make any attempt to re-enter the building at that stage. Because I had been told that there was a protest going to be held, I went up to the street level, to the main entrance of this massive facility, and I found a number of comrades who were holding a protest in support of the Palestinian people in front of the hotel. And here's what I saw. So I've just been forcibly removed from the lower level of the Fairmont Queen Elizabeth Hotel by the speech Gestapo of the federal government. And as you see, some enterprising protesters found out at the last minute, despite all the secrecy surrounding this event, that it was happening here at the Fairmont Queen Elizabeth. Shame indeed. Shame indeed. Problem is, the man ain't got no shame. Look at this phalanx of cops here. Look at this.
Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! From the river to the sea! Palestine is almost free! From the river to the sea!
Now, two things to note about this protest. First of all, there were probably as many cops as there were protesters. I mean, the extent to which the Montreal police will go in order to shut down or limit any kind of protest against Canada's pro-genocide policies, I think is really on full display in this little clip that I just showed to you. The other thing I want to point out about this protest is that it wasn't particularly large, but what do you expect? I mean, they didn't reveal until 2 or 3 hours before the event began where it was going to be held. They didn't make a general public announcement about where it was going to be held. All they did was, shortly before it began, they notified the people who were participants, who had actually been allowed to purchase tickets and who were welcome at the event. And somehow these enterprising young activists found out at the very last second, on a business day, Friday, during business hours, and quickly assembled whatever protest that they could. And I think this is quite consciously the strategy of the government. By playing this game of cat and mouse, they may not be able to, prevent all and any protests from taking place at speaking events featuring a minister of the Canadian government, but they certainly make it very, very difficult by engaging in this type of secretive behavior for activists to organize a major protest. And I'm frankly impressed that these young Palestinian solidarity activists were able to put together a protest even of that size under the circumstances. Now, the last thing I want to comment upon before signing off today is the question of militancy. As you saw from this clip, when I tried to enter the Fairmont Queen Elizabeth and was blocked from those 2 young beefy cops from doing that, basically I had a choice. The choice that I had was I could just turn around and walk away meekly when they refused to answer my question, or I could stand my ground and continue to demand an answer to my entirely fair question about why they were preventing me from entering the premises until they themselves decided that they were going to use force. And I chose the latter. And why did I do that? I did that because I wanted, to provoke the cops into, not by violence, I engaged in no violence, no threats of violence, but I wanted to provoke the cops through my questioning into showing their true face, which is that they are prepared to use brute force to protect the political elite from this country from any form of shaming or embarrassment for their utterly depraved behavior. And I think I succeeded in doing that. I succeeded in showing their true face. Now, just imagine that if I were accompanied by 1,000 other people who were prepared to do exactly the same thing. The cops would have been swamped. There would have been probably a national scandal at that stage. Many people would have succeeded in getting into the premises because there wouldn't have been enough cops to stop them from getting into the premises. And ultimately, Mark Carney would have been embarrassed, as he should be, for his depraved complicity in the mass slaughter of Palestinian children. His government has not only allowed Canadian-made military equipment to be sent to Israel, lethal military equipment, to be sent to Israel repeatedly during this genocide, but it has also purchased lethal military equipment from the Israeli military-industrial complex during this genocide, thus enriching the corporations and individuals who are helping Israel to carry out the mass slaughter of Palestinian children. His hands are bathed in the blood of Palestinian children, and he deserves to be embarrassed. He deserves to be called out. He deserves to be deprived of peace of mind for his profound moral bankruptcy. And therefore, I say to you, my friends, that this is precisely the kind of militancy that we require. And, there are many, and this is not by any means the most, shall we say, forceful level of militancy that people can engage in. There are people out there who are doing, on a daily basis, far more than what I did today. But I think at a bare minimum, those of us who are capable of staging that kind of a protest and provoking the police into showing their true face, we can and should do that more often. And if we do it to a sufficient scale and with sufficient frequency, we can expedite the victory of the Palestinian people and the forces of justice. This is Dimitri Lascaris coming to you from Montreal on November 14th, 2025.